The Merced River Gorge does not welcome the Ankylosaurus with Yosemite's famed Green Valley. The river drops into a steep, narrow canyon where fast water runs beside dry chaparral and oak woodland. Summer heat settles between the walls, and the dinosaur enters a landscape with little level ground, loose stone underfoot, and almost nowhere safe to turn. Its broad muzzle stays close to the earth, searching for soft shoots beneath tough brush. It can crop low plants well, but thorny stems and leathery leaves offer poor meals for such a large plant eater. Reaching the greener riverbank means descending loose slopes where its low body and short legs cannot easily correct a sudden slide toward the water. The Merced gives relief, but not safety. Strong current presses against the animal's heavy frame, polished stones shift under its feet, and deep pockets form beside boulders. El Portal Road follows parts of this corridor, adding pavement, walls, and sudden traffic to a route already squeezed between rushing water and rockfall-prone canyon walls above. The gorge could serve as a passage, never a home. The Ankylosaurus might feed in shaded bends and drink where gravel bars slow the river, then continue before the day's heat builds. It survives by following the narrow ribbon of green westward, because the canyon leaves no room for wandering. Here, choosing the right direction matters more than strength. Ankylosaurus in Pupanat Valley, Yosemite National Park. 3 miles below O'Shaughnessy Dam, the Ankylosaurus reaches Pupanat Valley and finds a rare pocket of wet country. Meadow, riverbank, and marshy ground spread across the floor, forming one of Yosemite's most productive and largely undeveloped low-elevation wetlands. After the dry gorge, the thick green growth seems almost too generous to be real. For once, food is close to its mouth. Sedges, grasses, and tender riverside plants form a low carpet suited to a ground-level browser. The animal can move slowly and feed without reaching for high branches near the waterline. Birds scatter from the reeds, while its broad back rises above plants that hide smaller animals and winding channels completely. Abundance creates its own trap. Saturated soil presses upward around each foot, and a body weighing several tons can break through ground that supports deer. A shallow pool may become deep mud after one step, gripping the legs on all sides. If the river spreads across the meadow, the dinosaur could be cut off from firmer terraces along the valley edge. Pupanat may be Yosemite's best feeding ground for it, but only while the floor remains passable. The Ankylosaurus would learn to follow drier ridges, enter wet patches from the side, and leave deep channels alone. It could thrive for a season, yet one flood could turn its richest pasture into a green prison. Ankylosaurus in Mariposa Grove, Yosemite National Park. A strange silence follows the Ankylosaurus into Mariposa Grove. Around it stand about 500 mature giant sequoias, some wider than a city room and older than many nations. Their reddish trunks rise beyond the animal's view, while fallen wood, shaded slopes, and mixed conifer forest divide the cool forest floor into dark, longer winding passages. The dinosaur ignores the towering crowns and searches below them. Ferns, young shrubs, and fresh growth along sunny openings are within reach of its low skull. Its armored back can brush through small branches, but the wide body cannot slip between every trunk or cross each fallen giant. A single log becomes a solid wall that may take hours to circle. Even careful movement leaves a mark. Giant sequoias depend on broad, shallow root systems, and the animal's weight could press soft soil around them or break young roots near the surface. A frightened sweep of its tail might destroy saplings that waited years for an opening. The oldest trees endure, but the grove's whole future remains easy to crush. Fire changes the forest. Heat can open sequoia cones and clear sunny ground where seedlings begin, while sending smoke and sparks through fallen fuel. The Ankylosaurus may follow fresh plants into an old burn, but it must avoid the next flame. Mariposa Grove offers shade and food, though thriving here means moving gently through a world built on giants. Ankylosaurus in Illilouette Creek Basin, Yosemite National Park. Smoke reaches the Ankylosaurus before flames appear in Illilouette Creek Basin. This remote wilderness is not one unbroken forest. Lightning fires have shaped a patchwork of red fir, lodgepole pine, thick shrubs, blackened trunks, and open ground. Some slopes are green, others are recovering, and every burn has written a different age across the basin. Fresh growth draws the dinosaur forward. Sunlight reaches places where the canopy opened, feeding low shrubs and young plants at the ideal height for browsing. It can spend hours in a recovering clearing, then drink from a creek winding between granite shelves. For this heavy herbivore, an old burn may provide easier travel than dense woods around it. But the useful trail can change without warning. Fallen logs block its low chest, ash hides deep holes, and standing dead trees may drop during wind. Its bony armor was built against teeth, not heat. If fire crosses the slope, the Ankylosaurus can't sprint far or climb quickly, so escape depends on noticing smoke early and reaching water or bare stone. Illilouette rewards an animal that keeps moving through forest stages. New burns supply tender food, older stands give shade, and creeks offer a retreat. The dinosaur might build a safe circuit through this shifting mosaic, but it could never become careless. Here, the land is always rebuilding, and survival belongs to whatever reads the change first. Ankylosaurus in El Capitan Talus, Yosemite National Park. El Capitan's shadow covers the Ankylosaurus as it enters a field made by falling mountains. Below the granite wall, blocks of all sizes form ridges, pits, and hidden caves. Ancient rock avalanches sent some deposits far across Yosemite Valley in a tongue of stone. What appears flat from a distance becomes a broken staircase beneath the dinosaur's feet. Armor offers little help here. Its belly hangs low over sharp stone, while short legs must lift the body from one uneven block to the next. A foot placed between boulders could twist or become trapped before the animal can pull free. The same weight that makes it harder to attack now becomes a danger with every uncertain step across the shifting talus. There is almost nothing worth eating in the center of the rock field. Small plants cling to cracks, but soil and water gather mainly near the edges. Warmth rises from exposed granite by afternoon, while cold air waits inside spaces too narrow for the animal to enter. The safest route is also the longest, circling the boulders instead of crossing them. Then a sharp crack rolls down from El Capitan. Pebbles jump, birds lift away, and the Ankylosaurus freezes beneath a defense that cannot stop a falling slab. It finally turns toward the meadow, choosing grass and open soil over the shortest path. El Capitan Talus wins by making each step a gamble the dinosaur cannot afford, no matter how strong it is. Ankylosaurus in Hetch Hetchy, Yosemite National Park. Hetch Hetchy opens like a second Yosemite Valley, except its floor lies beneath a reservoir, held by O'Shaughnessy Dam. The Ankylosaurus reaches the western shore between granite cliffs and blue water. Wapama Fall pours across the opposite wall, while the narrow trail ahead is squeezed between rock, tunnels, and the lake. Water is everywhere, yet reaching it safely is difficult. The shoreline drops sharply in many places, and the dinosaur's heavy front feet can slide on sloping granite. It lowers its broad muzzle toward patches of willow and other growth near small inlets, but the richest plants stand where soft mud meets water too deep for an easy retreat. The dam creates a problem no prehistoric instinct could explain. A solid wall closes the valley, fenced walkways cross its top, and the reservoir cannot be followed like an ordinary river. Swimming is forbidden for people because this is a drinking water supply, but the animal knows no boundary. Its arrival would threaten both the shoreline and the protected water. Hetch Hetchy could keep the Ankylosaurus alive only along its edges. It might browse near creeks, shelter beneath scattered trees, and move toward Rancheria Falls, where the valley opens into greener ground, but the reservoir has drowned the broad meadow floor that a low feeder would need. Surrounded by water it cannot use well. The giant now survives by leaving the lake behind too. Ankylosaurus in Grand Canyon of the Tuolumne, Yosemite National Park. The Grand Canyon gives the Ankylosaurus a road that is always breaking apart. The Tuolumne River descends through a remote granite canyon, sliding over shelves before gathering into white cascades. The dinosaur follows the water west, but every bend reveals another cliff, boulder choke, or steep drop blocking the bank. Quiet pools offer brief rewards. Low plants grow on damp benches, and willow thickets collect beside slower channels where the animal can drink. Yet the canyon rarely stays gentle for long. Near Waterwheel Falls, powerful flow shoots upward from curving granite before racing downhill, filling the air with spray and making every nearby surface slick. Turning back is harder than moving forward. The Ankylosaurus cannot climb narrow switchbacks or leap broken ledges, and its tail club becomes awkward between the wall and river. A crossing that looks shallow may hide a polished chute strong enough to roll its feet away. One mistake would send several tons of armor into water crowded with stone. The canyon might guide the dinosaur, but it would never surrender control. Survival means leaving the river whenever the walls tighten, climbing only on broad forested slopes, and returning only at calmer reaches, downstream. Food and water lie along the route, yet no single stretch can hold it alone. The Tuolumne becomes a moving gate, opening one passage while closing the next. Ankylosaurus in Tenaya Lake, Yosemite National Park. Tenaya Lake appears almost peaceful when the Ankylosaurus reaches its pale shore. Granite domes rise around Yosemite's largest front country lake. Lodgepole pines line the water, and a wide level beach offers level ground beneath its feet. After rough canyon travel, the wide animal can finally turn without striking a trunk or balancing over broken stone. The shallows may become its safest place. Cold water cools the armored body, while sedges and young plants grow near wet ground at the lake's edge. Its low center of gravity helps in gentle waves, but the dinosaur was not shaped for long-distance swimming. Beyond the beach, the bottom falls away, and clear water gives no warning of depth. Modern Yosemite closes in here. Tioga Road runs beside the lake, parking areas interrupt the forest, and summer visitors gather near the beaches. An Ankylosaurus moving between feeding patches could block traffic without understanding horns or barriers. Even a defensive tail swing aimed at noise could turn a crowded shoreline into chaos. Tenaya Lake offers rest, not enough food for a lasting territory. The dinosaur could follow sand margins, drink from calm inlets, and shelter among pines when storms cross the granite. But winter would freeze the shore beneath deep snow, while the open lake provides nothing it can eat. Its best season ends quickly, and the high country now tells this armored visitor to move on. Ankylosaurus in Tuolumne Meadows, Yosemite National Park. Tuolumne Meadows seems made for an Ankylosaurus at first glance. At about 8,600 feet, the broad subalpine valley holds low grasses, sedges, flowers, and a river that bends quietly through open ground. Granite domes stand beyond the meadow, but here the dinosaur can lower its head, walk slowly, and feed without fighting trees or stone. Its body fits the summer landscape better than any other place in Yosemite. A broad muzzle can crop mixed plants across wide patches, while armor offers protection from bears that would soon learn to keep their distance. The open view also prevents surprise. For several warm weeks, food, water, and room to travel lie together beneath the open sky. The meadow is softer than it looks. Snowmelt keeps parts wet, and repeated steps from a multi-ton animal would cut deep tracks through fragile soil. The Tuolumne River may appear calm, yet its banks can collapse beneath great weight alone. Mosquitoes swarm around wet areas. Afternoon storms arrive quickly, and lightning offers almost nowhere nearby to hide. Then the short growing season ends. Frost returns. Plants lose their value, and snow begins closing the valley for months. The Ankylosaurus might thrive through summer by moving between dry meadow edges and forest shelter, but it could not remain after winter takes the food away. Ankylosaurus in Mount Dana, Yosemite National Park. Mount Dana removes almost everything that helped the Ankylosaurus elsewhere. Above Yosemite's tree line, the mountain rises past 13,000 feet into wind, loose talus, and exposed rock. Small alpine plants cling to short-lived pockets of soil, while snow can remain in shaded places. long after warmer valleys have already turned green far below. Each step becomes work. Thin air cannot supply oxygen as easily. Freezing wind pulls heat from the body, and sharp stones shift beneath broad feet. Its low build gives some balance, but the route steepens into unstable slopes where a stumble cannot be stopped by armor. The tail that once discouraged attackers now drags against rock and wastes energy. Food is the final limit. Alpine plants grow slowly and close to the ground, yet there are far too few to support an animal of this size. Feeding would strip one patch in minutes, leaving the next across a field of stone. Even drinking requires reaching snowmelt or descending toward the Dana Fork, where every lost foot of height must later be climbed again. The Ankylosaurus does not conquer Mount Dana. It turns downhill before weather seals the summit, following scraps of vegetation toward safer subalpine country. Its armor can answer teeth, horns, and claws, but it cannot defeat cold, hunger, or lack of air. At Yosemite's highest edge, survival begins with accepting that this mountain can never become its home.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button.
And don't forget to subscribe to this channel.
See you in the next one.